Hi and welcome back to the Alpha Militaria TV studios, which just happens to also look like my garage. Now we've got another spring-powered rifle on the table again today. It's another Air Arms. This is the Air Arms TX200 Mark III, and it's the full-length rifle. Now, if you're not quite familiar with what we mean by spring rifles, it is, as the name suggests, the power plant here is operated by a mainspring. Unlike a PCP rifle that has a reservoir of compressed air to shoot a pellet, spring rifles or springers rely on you cocking the action and compressing a mainspring that is in this part of the rifle here. And then when you pull the trigger, that mainspring is released, which drives forward a piston which pushes air in a chamber forward, picks up the pellet at the breech and pushes it out of the barrel. Now, the benefit of a spring-powered rifle is that you don't need an air supply, a compressor, a bottle, or even one of those manual pumps. And that obviously is a benefit right now as we're still in lockdown, because some people are struggling to get out and get their air supply replenished. Now, there are two versions of this rifle. There's the full-length rifle, which measures 1050 millimeters, just over a meter, and weighs around about 8.6 pounds. And then there is the TX200 Mark III HC, or Hunter Carbine, which is a little bit shorter, just under a meter long, and weighs around about 8.4 pounds. Both are available in a beech stock, or this lovely walnut stock, and both are also available in left and right hand, which is good as well. Now, there are several different types of spring rifles. Break barrels, as the name suggests, they're cocked by breaking the barrel and cocking the mainspring that way. This is an underlever, which is cocked by pulling this lever underneath here. And then there are some rifles that have a lever on the side. They're called side levers, not surprisingly. Now, side levers and under levers have an inherent benefit or advantage over break barrel rifles, in as much as, you know, from here right the way back here, you're talking about one complete piece of metal that has no brakes in it. A break barrel, obviously, when you break the barrel, you're relying on that barrel coming back up again, locking really firmly into place and into line with the rest of the action, to give you accuracy. And if the barrel is a little bit loose at all, if that alignment isn't quite right, then you'll have accuracy problems. None of that exists with underlevers and side levers. So with that, we're going to do the usual thing of running through the rifle's main features from back to front. Then we'll zoom in a little bit closer to show you some of those features in close-up, and then we'll talk about cocking and loading the rifle. And now, the reason why I'm indoors is because the weather's horrible outside. So when the weather improves, I'll take this out on the range and put some pellets through it as well, and we'll show you how accurate it is as well. So starting at the back then, this is a right-handed version, obviously. You have a perforated or ventilated rubber recoil pad. There's not an awful lot of recoil from this rifle. It's superbly engineered, very, very smooth. There's the bearings, a lot of synthetic bearings in here. The engineering is superb, so you just don't get a lot of recoil from this rifle, but you do get more recoil than you would from a PCP. Forward of that, you have this quite high comb here, which gives you great eye alignment with a scope. And if you look on the right hand side, you can see that there's a little bit of a cheek piece here as well. As I say, this is available both left and right hand. As with the Air Arms Pro Sport, there's some very, very nice checkering on the pistol grip, very ornate, more of a sort of a fish scale checkering, I have to say. but looks great and is really pleasant in the hand as well. And you've also got the same checkering either side of the forend as well. Now the trigger is two-stage, fully adjustable. It's a very nice trigger, I have to say. You can really refine both the weight and the travel on both the stages very, very easily, and the let-off is really nice and crisp. Your scope will sit on top of a couple of dovetail grooves, and there's plenty of room for you to get good alignment for your scope. But the one thing I would say is that you just want to make sure that your scope is not too long and doesn't interfere with this loading port here. Now what happens is when you pull the underlever, this silver screen here slides back into the main action and reveals the breech into which you insert a pellet. And then obviously when you return the underlever, it closes back up again. What you don't want is for scope to be too long to interfere with access into the breech just here. The underlever itself is released by just pulling it out from a ball bearing catch underneath the end of the barrel here. Comes out very, very easily. Returns with a little bit of a click, but with a bit of practice you can close it up very, very quietly, so it's not an issue for hunters as well. And unlike the Pro Sport, for which the underlever is sort of hidden underneath the forend here, you get this sort of kind of double barreled over and under kind of effect, where you have the barrel above and the underlever underneath it. So those are the main features. Let's zoom in on a few of them and show you them in a little bit more detail. Cocking the TX200 is very, very simple. As I said before, you've got the underlever here, which is underneath the barrel, and gives you this sort of over and under kind of look. To release the underlever, just pull it out of that ball bearing catch. Now, because the rifle is so well engineered and balanced, it's very easy to cock, very smooth, there's no graunchiness or anything like that, and it's a real pleasure to cock. Now sweeping back the underlever opens up this port here, and if you can see that there, that is the end, that is the breech, that's where you need to put your pellet in. So take your pellet, obviously nose first, put it into the end of the breech, push it all the way home. Now, pulling back the side lever, or sorry, the underlever here, automatically sets the safety catch. And if I pull the trigger, nothing happens. And obviously that's a safety mechanism to prevent this underlever flying up and trapping my fingers. Even if I put the safety catch off and pull the trigger, I don't know if you saw that, but the underlever only moved forward about 1/4 of an inch and it won't go any further. Show you that again. So safety catch off, pull the trigger. No, really, really good feature that. So to return the underlever back so that you can take a shot, there's a little sliding pivot switch up here, and if you push the front part of that forward, that disengages the anti-bear trap and enables you to return the barrel so you're ready to shoot. Well, that's the Air Arms TX200 Mark III. Next step is to take it out on the range as soon as the weather improves and see how it shoots. Well, the weather has cleared up, I'm pleased to say, and I've managed to get out and put the TX200 through its paces. Now normally I go down to Reading Air Target Shooting Club and use their range there, but because the club is shut right now because of the lockdown, I've come down to one of my permissions. I'm going to stand at the back of the truck, rest on the back of the truck with my beanbag, and shoot from there. Now the target is set out at about 30 yards, and we'll see how it gets on. Now, one thing I always say to people when they're using springers is, regardless of what bear trap and safety mechanisms the rifle has, it's always best to just keep hold of the underlever or the brake barrel, just in case anything does let go. You've still got that extra bit of safety. Now the TX200 has won all sorts of FTC and FT competitions, including a world championship, so no pressure. I'm using Air Arms Diablo field pellets in 4.52 size. Really smooth firing action, and the cocking is very light for a full powered rifle, very smooth as well. Let's see how we got on. Now then. So a little bit of adjustment there. Now that is shot at about 30 yards, and that's a group, I suppose, that probably 9 pellets or 8 pellets within, I don't know, half an inch there, a couple wide. But that's not too bad. That's from a standing up supported position, and as I said before, that's with pellets straight out of the tin with a brand new rifle. Well, that's the Air Arms TX200 Mark III. I hope you found that useful and informative. If you did, perhaps give us a like and hit the subscribe button to hear more from us. And if you'd like to know more about the Air Arms range and a whole bunch of other air gunning information, take a look at our website, which is www.alphamilitaria.com. Thanks for watching.